We are very grateful and thankful to Longpo Dhammavuddho Mahathera for sharing with us the Dhamma tonight. Let us all rejoice and say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Brothers and sisters in Dhamma, are there any questions?
Bhante, to attain the perfect samadhi, is jhana absolutely necessary?
Say again.
To attain perfect samadhi, that means to be able to attain the third and fourth stage of sainthood. Is jhanas really necessary?
Yes, just now I mentioned Anguttara Nikaya 3.86 that an Anagamin and an Arahant, third and fourth fruition Ariya, they have perfect samadhi, meaning the 4 jhanas. But just attaining the 4 jhanas doesn't make you an Anagamin and an Arahant. The 4 jhanas means it makes your mind so focused, so clear, that when you listen to the true Dhamma, you will understand at a deep level, so that you attain Anagamin and Arahanthood. Those external ascetics, they attain the 4 jhanas, but because they never listen to the true Dhamma, they cannot even become a Sotapanna.
Dear Bhante Dhammavuddho, thank you for a very good sharing. I just want to seek clarity. You mentioned about the characteristics of Sotapanna. You may say upon achieving it only, or upon arriving to that, then only the perfect sila will naturally come about.
Yes.
When you say perfect sila, as a lay person, we have 5 precepts. Yeah. And then, of course, you got the 8 precepts to keep, and so on and so forth. Until the monk, you have completely a few hundred precepts there. When you say perfect sila, that means completely complying with all the few hundred precepts undertaken by a monk.
No.
I want to understand. Yeah.
Perfect sila is Aryan sila. And Aryan sila comes from the Aryan Eightfold Path. There are 4 factors that constitute sila. Sila means not harming others through body, speech and mind. It means you have right thoughts, right speech, right action, right livelihood. These 4 factors is Aryan sila. And these 4 factors can be considered to be 7 precepts. 3 body precepts and 4 verbal precepts. The 3 body precepts are not to kill, meaning not to kill a human being, not to take what is not given to you, not to engage in sexual misconduct. These 3 is the right action. Right speech is not to lie or cheat people, not to carry tales and cause disharmony, not to engage in coarse or vulgar speech, and not to engage in idle gossip. So this is Aryan Sila, 7 precepts.
Thank you, Bhante.
Bhante, may I ask, just now you said the Jhana Sutta is different from Jhana Visuddhi Magga. May I know what is the difference?
In the Buddha's jhana, for example, practicing Anapanasati, the Buddha's teaching is that you meditate on the breath and only the breath. And even when the breath becomes very fine, you still notice it until your mind is absorbed on the breath, and then it becomes one-pointed. And when it becomes one-pointed, 2 other things arise with it. One-pointedness of mind is called ekagata. The 2 things that arise together with ekagata is piti and sukha, delight and bliss. Okay? So, initially these 3 things, ekagata, piti and sukha, they are not strong. So if you can continue your focus on the breath longer and longer, these three things become stronger and stronger. When they are steady, these three things are steady. Together with vitaka and vichara, thought directed and thought sustained, the Buddha said you have entered the first jhana. Okay. In the Visuddhimagga jhana, they practice their concentration on the breath, and then when your mind becomes concentrated, some light arises. Okay, but this light that arises comes and goes. It is not permanent. But in the Visuddhimagga, they want to see this light, hold on to it. They want it to run away. So they focus on the light. Focus until they are no more aware of the breathing. They change the object from the breath to the light. And in doing that, they attain samadhi also. But the difference is that their concentration, because it's only on the light, they are not aware of that, the jhana factors. They are only aware of the light. And after some time, that samadhi wanes, goes away. Then after the samadhi goes away, they reflect on their heart. And then they say, oh, just now, when I was in that state, I had attained the first jhana, and there were these 5 jhana factors. So it's not like the sutta jhanas. The sutta jhanas, whatever happens in your mind, you are aware of it. As mentioned in the Anupada Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya 111. When the feelings change, you are aware. When your perceptions change, you are aware. Mind states change, you are aware. Everything you are aware.
Bhante, this evening you Bhante stress a lot on true Dhamma and fake Dhamma. But how do we lay people who are not very well versed with the suttas is able to identify when the Dhamma talk is given, whether it's a true Dhamma or not the true Dhamma? Unless we are very well versed with the suttas, then we'll be able to identify it.
You have to be well versed with the suttas if you hope to become an Ariya. You
I
cannot
hope to be
have
an
a
Ariya,
shortcut.
but if lay people are not so well versed yet with the suttas, when we listen to a Dhamma, how can we know whether it's a true Dhamma or not?
You have to listen to the suttas. Then only you can differentiate within the true. Differentiate between the true Dhamma and the false Dhamma. There's no other way. If you are not willing to put the effort to listen to the Buddha's words, nobody can help you. The Buddha said, after I am gone, take the Dhamma and the Vinaya that I have taught to be your teacher. The Buddha also said in the, I think, 5.88 Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha said, in the future there will be famous monks who have a large following of lay and monastic disciples, and they are long gone forth and very learned. Even such monks can have wrong views. So because of that, the Buddha said, only rely on his suttas.
Bhante, I have one more question. Actually, when talk about the Nikayas, I do have some of them, especially at Majjhima, and I attempted to read it and go through the text. It's quite thick. Then there's several more Nikayas, quite thick also. A lot of these Nikayas has been translated by people who attempted to understand the Pali language, translate to us in English. Some of the words, frankly, the only time I could really understand the suttas now is when I actually listen to the monks. They attempt to explain to us through sutta classes and whatnot. Also through some of the recordings you have made. But when we attempt to read the book on our own, the Nikaya, and then some I could understand, but it's a lot of repetitions, repeats. So how do we lay people? We are already in English, only familiar with English, and then I don't think I have that ability now to study another language at my current pace of work and life. So how do we attempt to, if we need to go through some of the suttas ourselves, how do we overcome this barrier of language? Also the translation, some we don't know whether accurate, we also don't know. Like myself, I read, I don't know whether this meaning is what I'm getting it correctly or not. So there's a lot of things has happened over the years in translations, and then we are trying to attempt to understand it from our point of view. How do we overcome these barriers when we read the Nikayas and the suttas in it?
There are several people who told me that when they started to read the Nikayas themselves, they found they could not understand. But when they listened to my talks, then they understood. Why? Because I explain. After reading the suttas, I take the trouble to explain and make it clear. And then I compare with other suttas. And then it becomes clearer. So, you have to try to listen to my talks. Put nearer, nearer.
Just now when I heard your talk, you say that even you gain jhanas, you still cannot be an arahant. Am I right?
Yes.
Then it's not necessary to gain jhanas.
He didn't listen properly. He didn't have focused attention.
Yes, that's why I just ask you back the question.
Okay.
Am I right?
For the first fruition, Sotapanna, you don't need any jhana. For the second fruition, Sakadagamin, the precondition is you must have 1 or 2 or 3 jhanas. Okay? 3 jhanas is still not perfect samadhi, not perfect concentration. And then for Anagamin, third fruit, and Arahant, fourth fruit, you need 4 jhanas as a precondition. So it depends what you want.
But I want to be gained as an arahant, to gain enlightened, to follow the Eightfold Path.
Yeah.
But not necessary, I must gain jhana.
To become a Sotapanna, you don't need any jhana.
Yes. But that one will lead me slowly, step by step, to 1 by 1 already.
If you can get Sotapanna this life, enough lah.
Of course, we try our best, you see. Try our best, you see. But then I just ask knowledge as what you mentioned in the Dhamma, you see. Thanks,
Bhante, I would like to clarify regarding, you mentioned that to become a Sotapanna, we don't really need sila. But once we can become...
Wait, I didn't say that. I mentioned several times there's a big difference between stream entry and Sotapanna. You must have been quoting the Abhidhamma. Abhidhamma says stream entry and Sotapanna is the same.
Okay, so stream entry and Sotapanna is different. Okay, so to enter the stream, we don't really need sila.
Sila is a supporting factor for most people. It is not a necessary condition. If you have sila, your mind is more peaceful. It's easier to focus your mind and understand the Dhamma. But there are some brilliant people like Angulimala. Even he killed hundreds of people without sila. He listened to the Dhamma, he can attain stream entry.
So in our case, we strive for the Ariya path. So do we need to undertake the training in Sila Samadhi Panya?
It's helpful as a supporting factor. Even meditation is a supporting factor. But the essential one is listening to the true Dhamma, the suttas. And then if you have supporting factors like sila and meditation, it helps you to understand the suttas and attain stream entry.
It means it's not really necessary to train in Sila Samadhi Panya to become a stream entry.
Yeah, if you are somebody like Angulimala, can.
Thank you, Bhante.
Bhante, we learn in the Mahasatipatthana Sutta that the Buddha taught us about the 4 foundations of mindfulness. That is a contemplation of the body, feeling, mind, and the Dhamma. By doing so, one can eventually attain Nibbana. But in this sutta, there's no mention about jhanas. Why is this so?
In the Satipatthana sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya, there's no mention of jhana. But if you study the Mahasatipatthana Sutta in the Digha Nikaya, it says that right concentration is the 4 jhanas. And a lot of people think that Sati and Satipatthana is the same. It's different. When you practice Sati, right mindfulness, it is to be practiced in everyday life. And that is to be combined with right effort. You see, in everyday life, if you are mindful, what is the purpose of being mindful? There are some people, they are mindful, they try to be mindful all the time. But they don't realize what is the purpose of being mindful. I have seen monkeys much more mindful. Yeah, because when I live in the caves, I look at the monkey. He's so mindful. When he walks on the branch, he has to notice whether it's a dead branch or a live branch. If he steps on a dead branch, he'll fall to his death. So when he comes across a dead branch, he will kick the dead branch to make it break so that the baby behind him does not fall. So they're extremely mindful. Any sound, quickly they notice, is there any danger? Can you be as mindful as them? I think you practice mindfulness also, you cannot be as mindful as them. But you must remember, when we practice mindfulness, it is not for the sake of practicing mindfulness. It is for the sake of practicing right effort. Right mindfulness must go hand in hand with right effort. When we practice these two, it's called vipassana. Vipassana is not what you practice in meditation. It is what you practice outside of meditation. There are some people, one Saile told me, he asked the teacher, he said, why your disciples, when they are in meditation, they are so mindful? When they are not in meditation, they are not mindful at all. You see that some people think that you practice mindfulness only in meditation. No. You're supposed to be mindful the whole day and night. So when we meditate, we have to practice satipatthana. When in everyday life, out of meditation, we practice sati together with right effort. Satipatthana, if you practice, you are practicing samatha. In the suttas, a lot of people, they study the Satipatthana Sutta. They never study the Satipatthana Samyutta. Satipatthana Samyutta has many suttas that explain how to practice Satipatthana. So, a lot of teachers telling their students that they are practicing Satipatthana, but they don't want to attain jhana. In the Satipatthana Samyutta of the Samyutta Nikaya, there's one sutta where the Buddha said, if a monk practices Satipatthana and does not attain samadhi, does not get rid of the hindrances, does not attain pleasant abidings in this very life, the Buddha said that is a foolish, incompetent, unskillful monk. The Buddha said, if you practice Satipatthana correctly, you must attain samadhi. You must get rid of the 5 hindrances and attain pleasant abiding in this very life, which is a term for the jhanas. So you see, also in the Majjhima Nikaya Sutta 43, it is said, Satipatthana is the basis of samadhi. In other words, to attain samadhi, you must practice Satipatthana. And there's another sutta in the Satipatthana Samyutta to explain how to practice Satipatthana. The Buddha gave a simile. The Buddha said, one day the most beautiful girl of the country came out. And the men saw and they clapped and they shouted, the most beautiful girl of the land. And more people came out and clapped their hands and asked her to sing and dance. So she sang and danced. And then one foreigner came along, one Wai Lao. They caught him and forced him to hold a bowl of oil filled to the brim. And they told him, you must walk in between the crowd of people. We will walk behind you with a long sword. If you drop, if you spill even one drop of oil, we'll cut off your head. So the Buddha said, this man is forced to carry the bowl of oil among the crowd of people. Does he dare to look at the beautiful girl? Dare not. Does he dare to look left and right? He dare not. All his attention is on the bowl of oil, nothing else. All the time his attention is there. The Buddha said that is a way to practice Satipatthana. So you see, Satipatthana is intense, unremitting mindfulness. Also the Buddha said, if you practice Anapanasati and you have unremitting mindfulness on the breath, you are perfecting Satipatthana. So you see, if you don't study these suttas, you are brought the wrong way and you don't know. You think you are practicing Satipatthana, you are not practicing Satipatthana. So you see, it's so important to listen to the suttas, to the Buddha's words. So samatha is practicing Satipatthana. And then vipassana in the suttas, Majjhima Nikaya 43, is these two factors, right effort and right mindfulness. And that you do in everyday life. We in Chinese we say nei quan, watching inside. So we are mindful of our feelings, of our mind, our body, everything, to make sure we don't do bad karma, to make sure unwholesome states, we notice our anger, we notice our pettiness, our selfishness, our arrogance, everything, and we try to change our character. That is Xiu Xing. Xiu Xing is Xiu Xing way, change our character. So unless you are familiar with the suttas, you are climbing up the wrong tree, barking up the wrong tree, you don't know. Many years ago, I went to Telok Intan to give a talk, and they told me one old lady has just died, one of their members. Few days before she died, she was crying all the time. They asked her why. She said, who has taken away my clothes? I'm naked. But everybody saw she was wearing her clothes. That shows she's going to be reborn as a naked ghost. And after that she died. Then they asked me how come, because she has been chanting Amitabha for 30 over years. She's been wasting her time. 30 over years. So you can practice wrongly for 30 over years. In the end, you go to the woeful plains of rebirth. What for? Rely on the Buddha. Don't rely on any other teacher. What I teach is not my Dhamma. What I teach is the Buddha's Dhamma. So if you listen to the suttas with focused attention, you certainly can become an Ariya. At least Sotapanna.
Bhante, you said that everyday life we have to practice the sati. So when we notice all this anger, arrogance, all these things coming out, how do we get rid of it? How do we overcome it?
You got to have strength of mind. If you don't have strength of mind, you cannot overcome it. That's why meditation is important. Meditation to get you to have strength of mind. And meditation means samatha, learning to focus your mind so that you have some muscle up here. And you determine not to get angry, then you actually stop getting angry. This, the Buddha said, if we think and ponder in a certain way, it becomes our habit pattern. And we tend to think and ponder in that direction. For example, the Buddha said, if a person every day watches pornography, and then he is thinking always of sensual thoughts, he has given up the thought of renunciation of sensual pleasures to pursue thoughts of he has given up the thoughts of renunciation of sensual pleasures to pursue thoughts of sensual pleasure. So if a person gets angry, and he makes a habit of getting angry, he'll always be angry. So it might be reborn as an animal.
If by reading this Satipatthana Samyutta on our own, we can do this meditation at home, or how do we still need to come to the monastery to?
No, you can listen to the suttas in my Dhamma talks. You can listen at home. You can also practice meditation at home. If you want some guidance, then you come to the monastery and practice.
Because your CD doesn't have guided meditation. It's only about the suttas.
We, every day from 12 to 1, after lunch, people can talk to me and ask questions. And also, every day about 6:30 to 7:30, we play our recorded talks. And after listening to the recorded talks, people can ask questions. So there are 2 times in a day people can ask questions.
At your monastery?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Bhante.
Venerable, in one of your talks, I heard is Abhidhamma came after the Buddha has passed away. That means the Abhidhamma was written after the Buddha passing away.
Yes. Because during the Emperor Asoka's time, there was no Abhidhamma. According to historians, they say that like during when the Sangha split into many sects, each of them created their own Abhidhamma.
Due to time factor, we'll just allow one more last question. Please raise your hand if you have any more questions.
Bhante, the Buddha said the true Dhamma would diminish after 500 years after he was gone. But it was salvaged by Emperor Asoka.
Say again?
It was salvaged by Emperor Asoka.
No, it was not salvaged by... It was existing during Emperor Asoka's time, because Emperor Asoka lived 250 years after the Buddha's passing away.
Yes, exactly. So that means with the true Dhamma being written by Emperor Asoka, so the fake Dhamma won't appear at all.
Say again?
Am I safe to say that? The fake Dhamma won't appear because the true Dhamma is still in existence.
No. The Buddha said 500 years after his passing away, fake Dhamma will appear. And because fake Dhamma is existing together with true Dhamma, the Buddha said it's very difficult to distinguish which one is real, which one is fake.
But now we have the true Dhamma in the form of the 5 Nikayas.
Together with fake Dhamma.
Together with Thank you. I thought we were safe.
Okay.
So some people are following fake Dhamma, they don't realize it's fake Dhamma.
Okay, we are very grateful for such a wonderful talk tonight. Let us all rejoice and say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, to close tonight's session, with deep respect, we wish to invite Longpo Dhammavuddho Mahathera to lead us in a sharing of merits that we have accumulated with all sentient beings.
Normally after Dhamma talk, I don't share merits. I invite the Devas and Devis to rejoice with us. Because when we listen to the Dhamma, we attain wisdom. We cannot share the wisdom with others. But when we listen to Dhamma talks, Devas and Devis will also come to listen. And so we invite them to rejoice with us. And also in a way thank them for making this place safe so that we can practice the Dhamma. Please repeat after me. Etavata cha amhehi
Itawata cha amehi
Sambatang punya sampadang
สัมปตังปุญญาสัมปตัง
Sabbe deva
สัพเพเทวา
Sabbe buddha
สัพเพปุตตา
Sabbe satta
สัพเพสัตตา
Anumodantu
อโนโมตันตุ
Sabba sampati
สัมปะสัมปติ
Siddhya
สิทธิยา
สาธุ
สา